Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I am going to draw a nose and a mouth and talk about shading them. So my implements that I've got over here are my HB pencil, which is great for drawing line. And then softer pencils, I've got my 4B and my 6B to hand, just in case I need those. And also a blending stick, although I tend to blend using my fingers. Then I have my normal plastic eraser, and which I generally use just to clean up lines. And I also have my kneadable eraser, which is, as it says, kneadable, which means that when you've used it, you can knead it around and it gets rid of the pencil that you've put on it, which makes it a little bit dirty. And also you can knead it into shapes if you want to get in there and erase highlights that you want to be smaller. So I'll put that over there. And so I'm going to go to my HB pencil first of all. I'm going to draw a line across here to represent the line through the center of the mouth. And then very lightly, I'm going to do like a Cupid's bow top lip, but top lips can vary enormously in their shape. And then a curve for the bottom lip down here. Just doing it very lightly because some of this won't be as obvious as other parts. We'll get to that in a moment. Now, if I look at the length of the mouth of that line and I turn it around, then I get the length of the nose. I will go up, leaving a bit of space there for the top lip. So above the top lip, between the top lip and the nose, and do a nice little curve there. And that's the bottom of the bridge of the nose that goes up. So that kind of curves around. It's a little bit of a small or large sort of ball shape within there. And then the bridge of the nose is slimmer than that. So if I come down here again and go, right, here's the width of my mouth here, turn that around, and around about there is where the eyes sit. Then coming back down to the base of my nose, each side of the nose, almost like a pair of brackets, we have the edge of the nostrils. And another little bracket, if you're looking straight at the nose, we see the nostrils sitting underneath like that. So that sort of gives you an overall view of the shape of the nose and the mouth. And next of all, I'm going to talk about how we're going to shade that. I'm also going to sort of come to the center of the base of the nose and sketch lines that go out just about like that to the top of the lip there. And then I'm going to cut down my HB and pick up my 4B and add some shade to this. So first off, I'm going to come down to the mouth and I am going to make that line a good bit darker. Because it's the beginning of a cavity inside of the head, so it tends to get quite dark at that point. And then I'm going to shade the lips. Because light mostly comes from above, whether you're outside or inside of a house, the top lip is in more shadow, and so it's darker. And I try to do most of the shading in the way that the muscles in the lips are, because that kind of gives it a lot more realism. So then I can blend that wee bit there. Add some more. You do find that the shading that you do at the start, you do go back and add a lot more as you go around, because those real dark parts, like the lip line, relative to the other shading you do, suddenly don't look quite as dark as they first did. And I'm also shading more towards the lip line, because as the lip curves around towards this line, you get more shadow. And then the bottom lip, again, sort of doing those lines in the way that our lips have the muscles in them. And I'm shading more towards the bottom of the lip, because the light hits this part. Tend to get a bit of a highlight here, which we'll put in shortly. And then it goes into much more shadow at the base. A little bit of more shadow just coming out from that lip line where the light hasn't quite found it. And also at the sides where the lip doesn't catch the light as much. And then often we get a little bit of a shadow underneath the bottom lip. And then if I take my kneadable rubber, and I'm actually using it this way, so that I can get those little highlights going in the same direction as the shadow lines of the lip. And okay, so let's move on to the nose. First things first are the nostrils. That actually, again, darkest part of the nose, this time of the nostrils, because that's where the cavity is in our nose, and so you get most shadow there. And then a bit of shadow around the outside. Now, obviously, it depends on which way light's coming. So if light was coming from this direction down here, we would get more shadow being cast over this side of the edge of the nostril. But there's still some here because we have the sides of the mouth, sort of sides of the nose that come down towards the mouth. And so that hides that area from the lighter bits. You still have got a bit of shadow in there. It's more this side of the light's coming from that end. And then same with the side of the tip of the nose, is that that's casting shadow over there and around the base of the nose because the light's coming from above. And those nostril outsides sort of come around and slightly lower than the nostrils themselves. Then there'll be a bit of shadow underneath. And then coming down, so this little dip that we often see between the nose and the mouth, that captures a little bit of shadow as well. And then coming up the bridge of the nose, I drew two very light lines up here. Not sure if you can see them on the video, but we don't have lines down the side of our nose. They just show almost like that because of the shadow that we've got. So because of shadow that I'm going to add here, the bridge of the nose looks lighter. Now, underneath the eye, we have a little dip, and then our cheek comes up to our nose, and it's a little bit higher over this area, so the shadow doesn't go across it quite as far. But as it comes down to the bottom of the cheek on the inside by the nose, you get more of that shadow across there. And then the side of that the light's coming from, you won't get much of this at all. Just a little bit, just to show that that's where the edge of the nose is. And I'm using my kneadable eraser and just tapping it onto the paper, which really effectively sort of kisses the paper. You can hear the little sticky sound, which lifts that pencil really nicely. And then I'm just bringing that shadow around the base here, but taking some of that line as well at the side of the end of the nose there. Okay, so I'm going to then use a 6B pencil, and I will show you the results of that as a screenshot just after this now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe.